Hi everybody, this is Oksana, and today I'm going to show you how to make this very basic, great for beginners pendant. So this is going to be, if you're new to wire wrapping, I'm going to walk you all the way through this, and yeah, that's it. So let's get started. So you will need some 20 gauge wire, 2 pieces, about 5 inches in length. This is a little extra, you're giving yourself a little extra room to work with. And then you are going to need some 28 gauge wire, and just leave it on the spool. I like to just leave it and work that way, so I don't know actually like the exact measurement of it that you need. And you will also need some sort of bead. This is my bead. It's green aventurine gemstone bead, and it is, let's measure it in centimeters here. So it's a little less than 2. It's like 1.5, maybe just a little bit more than 1.5 centimeters. If you want to see that in inches, it's like, it's not quite 1 inch. And yours can be a little different in size and shape. This is just what I'm using. If yours is larger or smaller, you will need to adjust the size, the length of your wires, but that's about it. So you can definitely use a different stone. And then for tools, so some wire cutters, some pliers. They don't have to be bent like mine. Some round nose pliers. These are really key. And you don't have to have the nylon ones, but you know, if you happen to have them, they will come in handy as well. So we are going to start out about 1 inch in. And you are going to take your wire, the thin wire, and you are going to wrap it 1 time around like this. So you have 1 little loop all the way around. Now you are going to put the 2 wires together, and what you want to do is you want to push this way periodically so that your little loops don't get all super spread out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull this up around the back and then down the front. So I'm making 1 loop around both of the wires. And I'm going to do it again, up all the way around and down. See how I'm pushing it together? Otherwise it would be like super separated like this, right next to each other. And 1 more time. Alright, and you can push them together like this too if you want to. Now we're going to wrap around the bottom wire. So you're going to take your thin wire, or you're going to bring it up the back. You're going to gently separate these 2 wires, and you're going to make sure that this thin wire goes in between them, or right above the bottom one or below the top one, however you want to think of that. See, there it is right there. And then up the back. So you made 1 loop. You can see it there. We're going to do it 1 more time. 2 loops. Hopefully that's focusing. We are going to loop it around a total of 4 times around that bottom wire. So that was 3 and this is 4. So we have 3 loops around both wires, 4 loops around just the bottom. And we're just going to keep going. Now we're going to do 3 loops again around both wires. Press it all together. Just like that. So just keep going with that for a little bit. And by the way, this pattern here, you can change it up if you'd like. So here's an example of what it would look like if you did 4 loops around the bottom wire and just 1 around both wires. It would look like this versus mine. So you do have some options. You can change it up if you want to. But what you want to do with this little wire here, this little end, You want to take your wire cutters and you want to just snap that off. And you want to unravel it a little bit so you only have the one loop. So I unraveled it a tiny bit there. I am cutting off this little excess little piece. And then I am taking my pliers and that little end of the wire that's sticking out, I'm just kind of smushing it down and working it around just to curve it down so it doesn't, you know, poke you, so it doesn't stick out. So I'm going to keep going a little more with this pattern, maybe just this much more. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, I guess you could say. So do 5 more, so do a total of 10. Now we're going to take our stone. Here's my stone. This probably will not go all the way around if I bend it from one hole to the other, but we want it to be just a little less. So now you want to decide, this is going to go on the edge of your stone here. Do you want it like this, with this edge up and the other edge touching the stone, or do you want it like that? So my wire naturally has a bend like this, but I actually prefer the way it looks when it's like this, so I'm gonna bend mine this way. So just give it a little bend, just kind of gently pull. Don't hold too close because then you're going to create a sharp bend. You want this to be kind of a gentle circular bend. You can kind of widen it back up if you need to. Put your stone in there. Alright, so now you're going to take this wire, this inner wire right here. You are going to bend it down at a sharp angle. You want like a 90-degree angle, like so. Okay? I'm going to push that to the back actually, like this. Okay? You're going to take your stone, you're going to slide it on there. So now you can shape it a little better so it goes right around your stone. And you want to keep going with it till it is just right past this point. So see, there's a little bit of room here, so I'm going to keep going with it until I get to this wire right there. Alright, so I'm about at that point. You can see I ended on the 3 wires around both. So you don't actually want to end on that. You want to make at least one of these little loops around the bottom wire. Just going to hold everything in place better, so I'm just going to make one loop. Just one, because I really don't need to go any further, but there we go. Alright, so what you want to do now is, if yours isn't bent, you know, into shape to fit your stone, you want to go ahead and, you know, adjust it how it needs to be so it goes around your stone nicely. Not too tight so it like doesn't, you don't want it to overlap the stone. You want it to be right on the edge. And what you want to do is you want to take your skinny wire, move it to the back, push it down out of your way. You want to tighten this wrap. Make sure it's nice. Ooh, make sure it's nice and tight. Bent my wire. All right. So there we go, just like that. You want to hold it, hold the stone, hold this wrap in place, and take this bottom wire here and push it back like this. Okay? Make sure it's a nice, you know, nice fit. You don't make it too tight or too loose. And then here in the back, here's our wire that we pushed back here. Take this little wire, move it out of the way again. So see, this is moving now. So push it to the right and wrap it around as tight as you can around this wire that's going through our stone. One nice little tight loop. Just like that, and then pull it down so it's out of the way. Alright, so we basically just secured our wires Now, it might be a little wobbly this way, up and down. We are going to compress it down in a little bit here. So now we're going to work on this wire up top. You can leave it bare the way it is right now, or you can wrap this little wire around it if you want to. Just, it'll look a little fancier, I guess. We're going to cut it in a minute here and just curl it, make a little design out of it. But I'm going to go ahead and do some single loops around it, just so it's a little extra pretty. Alright, so now I'm going to cut off my wire. I'm going to push down that end, pinch that down so it doesn't stick out. And then, so this is about, what, like a centimeter or so. I'm going to take my wire cutters, I'm going to give myself a little bit of room so that I can grab this bare wire with my round nose pliers, and I'm going to cut it off just like that. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and you want to practice this on maybe the piece of wire you just cut off. If you've never made a little loop before with these round nose pliers, go ahead and practice first on that spare wire, because you want to get a nice pretty little loop. This is going to be a decoration on the front of your pendant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the very tip with my round nose pliers. I'm going to curl. Okay? Sorry, I'm trying my best so that you can see it on camera here. See the little curl that I'm making there? I'm going to continue with that. There we go. And I'm just going to curl it with that other wire too. So just a little curl like this, just a decorative little curl. Alright, so now here on the bottom, you can do the same kind of curl with or without that extra little wire, or you can do this new kind of curl. And again, you may want to practice this on the spare piece of wire. So I'm taking this wire, curling it this way, just like this, gently. Don't hold too close. Just gentle, round curve. Okay? Now, once that is, not too huge, I'm going to start pushing this wire inside. So, doing like a second layer. Do you see that? Second layer in there of the wire. Keep going with it, pushing it in, and we're going to keep wrapping it. Once you have just a tiny little hole that looks like it's pretty much done there, what you want to do is you want to cut off your extra wire, leave yourself a tiny bit to grab with your round nose pliers. And now you're going to grab that little end with your round nose pliers. You're basically just tucking it in. At this point, it's hard to push the wire down with just your finger, so we're using the pliers to push it down and tuck it in. Tuck it in as much as you can, and then you can use pliers like these. These won't scratch the wire, the nylon ones. The other ones, if you press too hard and you have, a colored wire, they might, scratch that color off. So just push that in, tuck it in, and so now we have two decorative little curls, one on top, one on bottom. What we're going to do now is we're going to make our bail. This is going to be our bail. So you're going to grab your copper wire again, and you're going to wrap it around this. Just a little ways, so that you don't have to. You can leave it bare, by the way, if you want just a plain bail, or you can, wrap this. I'm just going to do it a little bit. All right, so I went a little extra here. I'm going to cut this off. I already cut off this other little end. pinch down my pliers, get rid of that little sticking out piece of wire. Kind of wrap that. There we go. Push it down, all the way down. What you want to do now is grab your pliers, grab this wire, and push down. Because if this part is too open, so your stone can slide up and down, you want to go ahead, now's the time to press down and compress that. Okay? And now you're going to, as you're pulling, you're going to push this forward like that. Alright, push down a little more here. So now we're going to make the bail. We are going to curve this backwards. Pull it backwards to make our bail. Now, you can make this as small or big as you want. We'll adjust it so it's not crooked in a minute here. But you want to make sure that your necklace can fit through it, basically, is how big you want it to be. So here is roughly the size of my bail. Now, you want to go back here. You want to take this long wire, hold this down with your finger, and bring it above. Just like that. Now we're going to take it and cut it. Give yourself just a little bit of room so you can pinch it. Oh, can't see what I'm doing in the camera here. There we go. Now you're going to grab it. Grab the end of it. This is probably a little too long, actually. I could have cut it shorter, but you're going to curl it under. You want this end to be tucked under here so it's not pokey. There we go. All tucked under. Now you want to flip it upside down, take this end, grab it, turn it, and we're going to tuck it also just on the other side there. Sorry, that's kind of hard for you to see, but just tuck it back there, just like that. So both of the ends are tucked. This is not sharp. This is the back of your pendant. This is the front. If you want to adjust your bail, you can take your nylon pliers. You can hold the bail this way. You can move it. If you need to move it a little bit, to this way or, to the side to make it nice and straight. But basically that's it. This is your finished little pendant. And if you want to make these into earrings, you would just make 2 of these. And I would probably just cut off this longer wire right away. Just have this one little loop right around and that's it. Have it end. And then this wire here, I would just make a little loop out of it. Just that connects so you can hang your little earring hook through it. Sorry, hopefully that explains it well enough, but that's it. That's a little pendant that we made. Little basic wire wrap pendant. So thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.